All right. Good afternoon and welcome. Hello to Paul Cutler. Hopefully the stream is here and not not here, but there. Hopefully you all are able to see the stream. My OBS was just getting a little crazy on me a minute ago, which is why I'm a minute or two late here. So it seems better now. But I didn't really do anything to fix it, so it's one of those things where I'm a bit scared of it right now, because I don't really know why it was getting crazy on me or how it got better, but we seem to be doing better than we were, so gonna hope we're good. Let's, I can see in the preview that the YouTube chat's too small. Let me fix that real quick. Have very limited feedback. Let me get something that I can see quicker. There we go. There we go. 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Yes, yeah, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. That's true. How's it going, Beata? Over in the YouTube chat. Nice to see you as well. And Mark Gambler. All right, so welcome to everyone. Let's go to the browser. Welcome to everyone. For anyone that's new, my name is Tim, filling in for Scott. Scott's out for a couple of weeks. He has got a newborn child to take care of, so he's got a couple of weeks of leave, and then he'll be back for a bit, and then he'll be gone for a longer chunk as well next year. And whenever Scott is not around, if I'm available on Friday afternoons, then I fill in for Deep Dive, as I am here today and for the next couple of weeks. So if you are new and you don't know what Deep Dive is, you don't know what you're in for, basically Deep Dive is, again, typically a live stream that's done by Scott Shawcroft, the lead developer of CircuitPython. And if you are brand new and don't know what CircuitPython is, it's basically a version of Python that can run on tiny computers called microcontrollers. All those devices are listed over here that support CircuitPython, and Scott's the lead developer, so this stream is really about getting way down deep into the weeds of CircuitPython. He's usually working on some cutting-edge stuff, whatever is, about to be brand new in CircuitPython. That's usually what Scott's working on. I tend to be up at a bit of a higher level than he is most of the time, so we don't dive quite as deep when I am here, but I do work on CircuitPython related stuff, and I do a similar sort of style of live stream where you all can kind of watch over my shoulder while I am coding away, plugging away, or tinkering away at whatever it is that I happen to be working on. Deep Dive, as well as CircuitPython, and Scott and myself are all sponsored by Adafruit. This is their website, adafruit.com. So CircuitPython is an open source project. Anyone's allowed to use it. Anyone's allowed to put it on their hardware. You're allowed to use it in your own projects. You could even use it in your own products if you want. Adafruit is the company who pays the team that works on CircuitPython. The project itself, the source code, everything is all released for free. And Adafruit is making that possible by paying the team of folks who work on it. There's a team of folks that work on it full-time. There are some people like me who work on it part-time, although I am on the road to ramping that up as well. And Adafruit is the one making that possible. They're paying the folks to work on it. So if you want to help support CircuitPython and Adafruit, one of the easiest ways you can do it is just at their website, adafruit.com. You can purchase hardware from them. They make microcontrollers that run CircuitPython. They also make all sorts of stuff that you can hook up to your microcontroller in order to build projects or whatever kind of little doodads you want. So motor drivers and sensors and lights and buttons and beepers and buzzers and all kinds of things, more than I could think of or imagine. Lots of glowy RGB lights and stuff over there. So as always, head over there, get yourself some toys, and thank you to everyone who does shop there. Charles Burnford, hello, Tim. Good to see you. Yep, nice to see you as well, Charles. How's it going, my friend? So today, I figured it would be a good thing to do, which is actually in the core, although we won't be on a microcontroller. This is a sort of maybe at least lesser known to me part of the core. I think I've been sort of peripherally aware that this thing inside the core exists, but I've never actually touched it until this week, and so we're going to play with it a bit here on the stream as well and do a bit more with it, which is the Unix port inside of CircuitPython. So for anybody who is familiar with the CircuitPython project, it's broken down into ports. All the different ports are here, and there is a Unix port, which can actually run on your computer, or I should say it can run on a Unix-based computer. So my computer is Linux. It can run on there. I don't know about Mac. I assume this probably could work on Mac somehow. I don't know if you would need some kind of in-between layer or something, but you could probably make that work pretty easily. Windows, I think, is probably out unless you have a VM or some other kind of like, what do they call the subsystem for Linux, WSL thingy. Maybe that could work. I don't know. I don't have any personal experience trying to do it on Windows, but it is nice and easy to run on Linux, which is where we're at. I'll show you the process of building it. I actually do have it built already, but it was super easy to build as well. Whoops, that's not what we need. Let's do this one, which is this one, and let's close all the other ones. Okay, Unix port, standard Unix-like environment. So it was similar to building the others. The one thing you do need to do is choose a type or something. What does it say? Let's see. Build, so that's how you run it. Okay, so go to ports, go to make submodules, and then say make. This actually, so the README doesn't tell you how to do the type or whatever. So because there is a build, there's a build standard and there's a build coverage, and build coverage is what we will want here in a moment. But build standard is the default. So inside of ports Unix, I will follow what this says, cd into ports Unix, make submodules. Probably it should be done already, but let's do that. Okay, and then just make, and this is going to make the build standard, which is this one. I don't truthfully, honestly know the difference between them. I don't think standard has all the same stuff as coverage, but I don't know what's missing, or if that's even the case for sure. Mac can be hard to build for if you do not possess an Apple account. I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so I already have all the prerequisites and everything, so the build was actually really easy. That's already done. We just got to build right there. Build standard MicroPython, and you can run it super easily in Linux if you just go /build, whichever one was made, MicroPython, and then it's just a command line argument. You run it, and it will drop you into the REPL. Okay, so standard, it looks like that. Well, I don't know if any of them actually will have board. Does it have OS? Yeah, it has OS. So you can do some of the bits of CircuitPython here. Now, this port does not obviously support everything, right? There's no hardware here, so like, I2C, SPI, Digital I/O, things that interact with hardware, which is like, a lot of what CircuitPython does. Obviously, that stuff's not here. But there is kind of the basics of the Python system, the Python language. And then some of the CircuitPython modules are there for you to be able to test with over in the coverage build, which is what we really want to make. And I need to remember how to make that. So I think if we look in the make file, it will tell us the arguments. Yeah, variant, I think. So we can say variant equals, and then we want coverage, I'm pretty sure. Let's try that one. All right, so let me get out of this. Can you quit? Is that the right way? No, quit's not that. So let's just try. So Control D will break out of that. Okay. So make, I think we want so like normally with when you're building CircuitPython, you would be like make and then board equals, right? I think with this one, the Unix port, you want make and then variant equals, and then we want coverage. Linux is king. Linux is nice. I like it on the days when it works. The days when it doesn't work, I have reservations some days, but it's pretty good. It's certainly the thing that I use every day at this point, and probably will be for a while, not forever. How's it going to Yano over on the Discord? Nice to see you as well, my friend. So, yep, that one, it took a little bit longer because it's got more stuff, I assume, but it did eventually finish the same way, and we can run it the same way if we just go build coverage, MicroPython. That's going to take us to the REPL, I think we still probably, yeah, we can't do that still, but I do think there's more stuff in here. In particular, just recently, hug report to Jeff. Jeff made it so that you can actually import vector IO here, which is cool because we are actually going to use that here in a minute. I'm going to try to write some tests for some new functionality that I added to vector IO. I always forget the build commands for Unix. Works great for testing non-hardware. Now, ideal would be hardware emulation layer on top of it. Yeah, I agree. I was pondering, specifically in display IO land, I was pondering, like, I wonder how hard it would be to hook up a fake display IO thing in there that writes to some software thing. So, like, I made a Blinka display IO that writes to Pygame, the Python game framework, just kind of using Pygame as a canvas to put Blinka display IO stuff. I was kind of noodling around the idea of if it could be possible to use the Unix port with display IO inside of there and actually spit out, your display to some other thing. That's probably a difficult thing that I'm not sure I could do, but it would be interesting and perhaps fun to play with for sure. Screenshot testing, yeah, so screenshots was another one I was thinking, like, and in fact, I want to see, can we write files from this? If we can write files, then screenshots we'd actually be pretty close to being able to do, I think, because there's already Adafruit display screenshot, Adafruit screenshot. There's already a library that does screenshots. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head for sure. Bitmap capture, bitmap save. Anyway, whatever it is, there's already a screenshot for, I think it's bitmap saver. There's one that can do that. So if this, let's try this. Can this write to a file? So f equals open, like, I don't know, new file.txt. Just write to that. F, it doesn't crash. F.write. Hello. Unix port? Question mark? Because I don't know if it's going to work. Okay. F.close. Okay. It didn't crash. I have no idea, like, where. Ah, look at that. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So we could maybe use bitmap saver to save a bitmap, like, as output from display IO. Obviously that's not live, right? We can't, you can't see it as it refreshes or whatever, but we could say, run some code, save a single snapshot. That'd be kind of cool. Try OS lister. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I assume that will be / it should be this directory here, but we can totally import OS and then OS lister root, which will be wherever CircuitPython thinks is root. Which, no, that's actually a different place, is it? I mean, it must be different because it doesn't have, like, readme and q string and all this. I guess maybe this is my actual root. Yeah, this is probably my actual root. We're still in CircuitPython, right? Yeah, we're in CircuitPython. That's weird. I don't know. Well, okay. What is there a git, like, isn't there, like, git current or something? Git, yeah, this one. Maybe it knows where it's at? Oh, it knows where it's at. Look at that. Okay. Okay, so root is like root, and then unlike the microcontroller CircuitPython, I mean, it's unlike it altogether because it has a binary, but where the binary is at, the binary knows where it's at, and it doesn't believe that it's in root. Yeah, thank you. There's always X over USB. X over USB. X the GUI thing. Okay, so build coverage lets us build a version of CircuitPython that we can run on the computer. And then what I would like to do, so there's a bunch of tests that get run against this version. So run tests, which is in the, I don't know what folder. Is it in the root or no? It's in the test folder. Yeah, in the test folder in CircuitPython, there's a script called run tests, which will run all the tests that are in these folders. And the one that's interesting to me are the ones, I mean, the most interesting right now, I should say, are the ones in CircuitPython. And my understanding is it will basically run the Python file and then check the output to make sure that it matches the expected output. Is it going to build its own, or is it going to know where to find it? That part I don't know. Okay. It's going to find it in the repo, but it is looking like standard instead of coverage. Does this have coverage anywhere? Coverage? It's a different file. Where is that file? Tests feature check? This has like nothing in it. Feature check coverage. Extra coverage. That seems odd. Does anything, if we say git grep build dash coverage, does anything use that? CI features dash M features 2. I don't know what that does. Oh. Okay, it's doing some weird excluding. Can I go there? I wish I could just go there. Tools ci.shell 648. MIPS test. Okay, so it looks like run test is actually meant. So I was imagining that to be run with the PC Python, but that's not actually true. It needs to be run with the build, the Unix port. So, and this goes into tests, cd tests. And then up, ports, Unix, build, coverage, MicroPython, /run, tests. Pi. I'm going to skip the excludes. No module named subprocess. No. Okay. I was wrong. This is not running this inside of this. It is setting the MicroPython argument, environment variable, and then it is running run test with the PC Python, how I was imagining first. Yeah. Sorry, the variable. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. I think the executable for Unix has a lot of flags you can provide. Is there a -H? Build coverage MicroPython H. Yes. Inspection via REPL. What does that mean? Partially, we're just going to experiment some here, because like I've never used this before, so before this week is the first time I used it, so yeah, partially this stream will just be me experimenting with this. Enable inspection via REPL after running command module file. Doesn't seem to be anything different after you run a command. You can run a file just by passing it like Big Python, so you can say like, if we got up to the tests, happen to know there's one called AES, we can run it like that. I don't see any other, oh, I didn't do -I though. Does it come before this? Oh. Oh, -I like interactive? Is that what it said? It calls it inspection with REPL. Okay, so I guess that just means though, like it's gonna spawn a REPL and then you're gonna be at the end of this code. So like if this created a variable like key, that should be here still. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's got reused or something. Yeah, it got changed, but it's still here. The variables, whatever its final state was at the end of this file, that's where this REPL will spawn. That's actually pretty cool. So you can run it, and then you can like poke around with the final state to see what it is, right? Figure out what's what and where it's at. That's pretty cool. What were the other ones? V for verbose, trace various operations, can be multiple. What if we just try V? Do we see anything extra? Oh yeah, totally. Memory, stack, GC, number of blocks. If we double it, oh, it doesn't like that. Do we just do 2 of them, or? I don't know, that seems the same. Oh, now we have this stuff up here now. Was that there last time? Oh, there's going to be a lot of this. Let me try just one again. Did we get that stuff? No, okay, so the second one added all that stuff. I don't know what that is. Load method, load name, call name, load name, call method, binary, load name, pop top, jump. Is it assembly? I don't know. It doesn't really look like code all the way. It's like code-ish, but it's like only it's like just defining stuff. Doesn't seem to have like logic. I mean, there's some line jumps. I think it's just like logging output, basically. It's telling us everything that's happening when the code's running. Especially all the variables that are getting created, all the functions that are getting called, everything like that. Cool, that's kind of interesting. What were the other ones? So -V, -I, O for bytecode optimizations, N. I don't know what that's going to do. Specific options, compile only, emit bytecode, heap size, parse and compile only. I don't really know what any of those mean. Okay. Let's make this a variable. And then try run tests. I'm gonna Python run tests because it feels weird to just run it without Python. 41 tests failed. AES, bitmap filter. 99 tests skipped. 846 passed. AES failed, huh? So how can I run a single test? You know, I'm sure I can, but I don't know how. Moopai? It's talking about writing these files, but oh, resulter. Where's that? It's passed in. That doesn't help us really. We could print it, I guess. I don't know where the resulter is. Results? Fair enough. No module. I'm not necessarily convinced that I did that right. Cause didn't I import that? Oops, AESIO. Yeah, there's a module there. Oh, it says no module. But in like like in regular Python on the computer, that doesn't exist. I don't think. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Huh. There's one way to output bitmaps. It's imported. Yeah, I'm not convinced that that ran inside of the thing there. Did this succeed? Did I do this in the right tab? Is that the right way to echo? So can we run that? We run it, it goes to there. Right, there's no quit, but okay, so can we run it and then circuit Python AES? Then it runs successfully. All right, let's read this README. This is in tests, I guess? Tests for functionality areas MicroPython. To run the test, simply run test script in the directory, test all of all capabilities not supported. It's written to check the capability. If it's not, the test merely should skip. by terminator, call sysexit. New feature, tests are generally verified by running the test in MicroPython and CPython, comparing the output. If the output differs, the test fails, the outputs are saved. Creating new tests, anything that relies on float support should go into float. Anything that relies on import x where x is not a built-in module should go in import. So that's why, okay, so that's why we have a CircuitPython directory. Benchmarking. Host. Pairing. Wow, there's a lot of stuff you can do in here. Dang. Key certificates? Okay. How do I get it to run inside of MicroPython? I feel like it seems like... Is there a env? Somebody GitHub Actions runner. There are some. What is the one we created? MicroPython? Okay, apparently there's a lot of those. Okay. So if os.name, let's require at least CircuitPython 3 if your default Python 3 executable is the lower CPython 3.3, okay. But I did not set that. But the default one should work because I'm in a environment with Python. So this is for Windows, I guess. I guess that would probably work too. This path. So that would be the default. Those go to the default by standard, or I mean, it goes to the standard by default. I don't have MPY cross, but we're not using that part. But I mean, it's gonna fail if it's running it in CPython. Like, that's definitely true. Do all of these pass when they run in actions? .3, wow, seems so old. My guess is that you might not actually be, that might not be accurate. Truthfully, these this doc feels like it was written for MicroPython perhaps a while ago. Like what's the show history of this? There's a couple of commits this year. But then before that, it's like 2022. And yeah. Damien, Angus. I think this is a MicroPython file. And so it may be from quite a while ago that it was originally written. Like 3.3 might have made more sense when it was written. It may be out of date as well. It's possible that it doesn't actually run that old. Much better than bitmaps. I think the executable for Unix. Oh yeah, that was a while ago. Right, do these pass when they run in here. Is it under build or web actions, workflows, run tests? Tests. Oh, it's never run. Unix port? 3 months ago. So inside build, oh, I can't unfold these. Why can I not look inside here? 1 hour ago. It's not even like it's like ancient or anything. What's up with that? So under build tests, run tests, needs scheduler, uses that CP version scheduler outputs CP version. Okay, I don't really know what that does. But it runs the tests and they seem to pass. You have green check marks on all of these. But I am curious if these ones are just expected to fail, or like if it's actually running them against CPython, then it would definitely be expected to fail, I think. But what it would need to do is run it against that Unix port binary that we built and then check the output of that against the EXP file. Not try to run it in the MicroPython binary and in CPython and then check their outputs against each other. And I'm not sure if or where that's happening. But I'm going to try to just add a test to here and hope for the best. There is actually vector IO here, but this is not, I don't think this is one of the same, because this probably should be inside manual, truthfully, right? Because there's a CircuitPython manual, which has code that's intended to be run manually on a device, which is way more what this is. I think this won't run on a Unix port because it's like display. None of that's gonna work. So truthfully, it would probably make more sense to move that to manual, CircuitPython manual, and then inside vector IO, maybe we would have the ones that I want to write. Although we do need to be on a different branch because my stuff is new. Vector IO intersection. I'm going to make a new build. I'm going to do the coverage build. One thing I've done is look at the PR that ran and what the log was doing for the tests. It includes the commands to have some tests. Maybe I can see it on a PR. I went straight to actions directly. I don't know, like GitHub, it feels different. It feels like it just is not. Usually these can unfold, right? There's like a little triangle and you click it and then it shows you all the stuff inside there. Oh, I'm not signed in. Being silly. Okay, hold on. I thought I signed in. Never did sign in that browser, huh? Okay, the pointer thing is over here, not over here, but yeah. That just says run test J4. Pass, 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 pass. So does this have a big list of fails? Okay, let's not do that. Has a bunch of skips. But it did not skip AES, which implies presumably the AES passed. Not sure what's up with the order here, like CircuitPython this, and then basics this, and then CircuitPython that, and CircuitPython this, and then extmod, and then basics, and then extmod. It seems kind of random. A lot of basics. So AES.py passed. Should we not use coverage? Oh, this didn't build either. Oh boy. Okay, I think... I think the problem is we would actually need to merge main to this because Jeff made a PR that added vector IO to be available in the Unix port, but he did that after I have created this branch. And this branch has not had main merged back to it, so it doesn't have that stuff. Therefore, it seems upset that I tried to build it with vector IO. I don't even know why it's building the vector IO stuff, though. Maybe if I did a make clean, then it would do a clean build. But anyway, we want the vector IO stuff. Let me check if there's merge conflicts also real fast, because if there are, then we are going to have to resolve them. Doesn't look like it, but also the not logged in, so is it going to actually show them to me? I don't know. Does have conflicts. Meow bit. I'm going to make a new branch just in case merging goes bad. Actions work too. I just don't understand that or taking the time to. I gotcha. Vector IO intersection merge main. No. Yeah, no, main merge that into this merge. The main has these changes. This, and then mine has this change. Thank you, JetBrains, for making that very easy to do. That was very easy. It did not go wrong. I am actually just going to go back to the main, so not main branch, but the branch that the PR is on, vector IO intersection, not merge, just vector IO intersection, and I'm going to merge main to that. Now that I know what's involved. Boom, boom. Ow. Bang-a-lang, okay. Fly. Commit. Oh my. That's not what we want to do. Okay. Hopefully that's not gonna mess anything up too bad. I don't know why there was like 100,000 changes listed. That seems kind of ominous. Okay, now that we have merged in main, can we build this and get vector IO? Then if so, do we have the new functions that I added? Is that all of that will be a prerequisite for the tests I want to write? Sadness. I mean, it's basically on every variable that's an MPQ string. I'm gonna try clean. Is clean a thing here? I feel like that should be the first thing we try. Maybe it just needs to regenerate new stuff. Because it definitely has a bunch of new code, which has a bunch of new Q strings, which means like it's gonna have to redo that thing that makes those or whatever. Okay, that's way less errors, but module not found. I mean, that's a Python error, so I think that means we just need to be in the virtual environment, basically. Source up CPY VF, I think. No? Up again. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Oh, we got stuff that didn't happen last time. That's got to be a good sign, I think. Okay, now we got all of that, though. Actually, these are different. These are different. Does this fail? Does this build in the other ports? Like, is this... Um... I mean, these are all the exact same, basically, which is that this file is missing. This file has nothing to do with anything I touched. Okay, they are actually different. Each one of these is all different, but they are all the same error, basically. Is main build for me? I should be updated. It's gonna take a minute. But I updated before the stream. I mean, this part's weird though too. Maybe we have a messed up. We have a messed up thing going. I mean, this looks like a bunch of stuff's been deleted, right? Why is all this stuff showing deleted? And that's like 100,000 files. It says not available until get update finished. Is that talking about that? Because this said that even before I started this. While that's running, let's look at this. And it just says merge branch conflicts. It doesn't really have anything crazy. Definitely not 100,000 files, which is good. This should be basically just mostly turning off vector IO for builds it doesn't fit on with the added code. And then the new actual stuff is just the 4 files in there. And all of that looks fine. But it does, as of now at least, it has not like changed a bunch of extra files. My local thing here obviously is thinking that something's up with that, but I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait on this. Oh, I keep ending up with this open. Same errors. I wish I probably shouldn't have done this. I wish I wouldn't have done this. I mean, if it actually thinks these are changes, then I guess it's going to be trying to stash them and do all kinds of stuff, which is, if there's actually 100,000 of them, going to take forever. This says that main is up to date. But totally does see not 100,000. But certainly some of these show modified for some reason. But I didn't touch them intentionally, so like this is a git thing, seemingly. Alright, well, if you have seen my path, then you may have spied that one of the ways that I tend to problem solve in CircuitPython when my builds are messed up and I have files that are maybe changed that I didn't really touch, and I don't really know why, is usually just clone another thing and do it again. In fact, we already have CircuitPython again, so we're going to go in here and go can you choose the name of it where it's going to clone to? Git clone specify directory. Folder name. Good old tack the 2 on there. It's a classic. This thing doesn't even cancel quickly. I should have known better than to try to update that. Once this gets done, I'm gonna go into the virtual environment so that I have all the Python requirements we need to make a build. And I'm gonna try to make a build while we're still on main. See if we get the same error, which I suspect we won't, because I doubt that main is actually broken. So virtual environment, up, 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 up. I wish this would have tab completion for the boards folder. And then if this works on main, I'll check out vector IO intersection. And we'll try the build on the Pico system, or so we'll try the build on a real device. If that works, then we'll try the Unix build in this new clone. And if all of that works, then we'll chalk it up to this clone has gotten out of sync or messed up somehow. It's time to abandon it and work on a new one. I will mention, just like Scott is willing to answer questions and go on tangents, same is true for me. So if anyone has questions about, I mean, I don't really know that much about what I'm actually working on today, as you could probably tell, since I'm kind of floundering a bit, but if you have questions about this or anything else you think I might know about, I'd be happy to answer questions or entertain side quests, especially since we've got a few things here that we'll be waiting on momentarily. Okay, main, all good. We got to build. Git. So we're not gonna be able to check that out directly. Actually, I could do GHPR list. gh repo set default. Adafruit, GHPR list. Intersection 9753, GHPR checkout 9753. Okay, so now we're on my branch, which I did just merge main to a minute ago. So can I just go make ecosystem again? And I didn't do a clean. I don't know if that will matter. Yeah, probably we're just gonna bail on this. I canceled this like several minutes ago, and it's, you know, it's interesting. The cancel button is still there logically, because when I hover it, the text down there changes to cancel, but visually it's gone. So that's a neat trick. Doesn't do anything if you click it. Didn't do anything when I clicked it last time either, though, seemingly. I think that clone is just, whatever this is probably wrecking everything. I don't know why it thinks these are gone. Yeah, I don't know why it thinks this is gone, but it probably shouldn't be, and probably it deleted a bunch of stuff that's important for making the build succeed. And indeed, we got another success here. So this is on my branch. So my branch from the PR is okay, for building at least. I did see the actions failed, so it probably wants pre-commit or something. So we want to go up to Unix, and then we want to make the Unix build with, what was that? We need to, do we need make submodules or whatever? Isn't that a thing? Make submodules. That has tab completion. Okay, that's quick. Nice. And then it says just make, but I do want the coverage version, so I'm going to say make variant coverage. Okay. Maybe if this succeeds, I might open the new clone inside of the IDE. We can hope that this one will stop when we close it. Okay, we do have all of this stuff, though. We have all of this. We have all of this. But this is not as bad as what was there before. And importantly, this is all like stuff I touched. So this makes sense for like build doesn't work because of these things. To some extent, like I actually touched these things. Yeah, and it looks like to me that maybe the compiler is more stringent. It looks to me like maybe the compiler is more stringent when you build the Unix port versus the other ports. And so this is saying implicit conversion from float to MP float, aka double. We need to be explicit about that probably, and then the compiler might be happier. So vector IO, shared module, init 109. Yeah, we are totally going to bail on this. Let's just close this. Try CLion again. Open CircuitPython again. CircuitPython 2, the return of CircuitPython again, otherwise known as CircuitPython again. Trust this window so we don't have two windows with CircuitPython, because that's never a good time. We'll end up changing something in one and then building in the other and being like, why is it not doing anything? Okay, we're here. It's not thinking in the background. Ideally, hopefully, at least it's not telling us it is. Yeah, we want to go to the stuff we changed, actually. I can... Oh, yeah, no, the views... Man, I really like the scopes feature of JetBrains IDEs, but there's no good way to copy the scope from one project to another. So, like, since I bail on my CircuitPython clone when it stops working and clone a new one, I can't just copy my scope over, and the only way to do it is, like, through the GUI with checkboxes. It's, like, convenient once it's done, but not really convenient to set up. And if I keep moving, then it's... Anyway, try to stop complaining. What, is this a shared module and then init C109? All right, so float D1, D2 are both floats. Line length is a float. Padding is an MP float. That's probably the one that is making it weird. D1 and D2 are floats. Line length is a float. Padding. So padding is an MP float, and all the rest of these are just floats. And it doesn't seem to be super happy about that. Maybe if we just implicitly float that, is that good enough to make this happy? Let's get in here too so I can do the builds inside the IDE. We need to be in the virtual environment. Oh. Yeah. I always want to say variant, the B. I think because I'm used to typing make and then capital B for board. Make variant coverage. Okay, so do we get all the same errors except for not the first one? If we no longer have 9109, well, okay. Okay, so technically we had several errors at line 109. But if we're down from 4 to 3, yeah, look at that. Okay. In fact, we're down to none, so that's nice. Okay. Float, yeah. Conversion from double to float may change value. I think that's a risk I'm willing to take. I tested it. Seems to test okay. So CX, so that's an int x1. That's an well, that's actually an int 16t. So that's like what? That's a MicroPython int or whatever, I think. So we divide, which is going to give us a float. Line length is a float. How takes doubles and returns a double, I think. What that means. So we're generating a double because we are dividing by doubles. But we're putting it into a float. I don't know. Is it the same solution? Can I just cast it and then it's okay, or? Maybe yes, actually, because we got it's no longer here. Now it's back here. So if we and we know that POW returns a double as well, so we could float that too. Nice. Okay, 133. Oh, that one's because we calculate floats and then we are passing them to a function that is accepting ints. Cast them to ints. Okay. It builds. Run it. Build coverage, MicroPython. And then import vector.io. And then dir. Do we have the new functions? Yes. Okay. All right. Let's try to make a test. Tests. Should I be on vector.io integration? I mean intersection. Let me make a new branch. Let me make a new branch in the terminal. Git checkout -b. Is that going to check out from the branch that I'm on? I guess we'll find out. The new branch is going to be vector.io intersection tests. And then I'm going to not choose the branch it comes from. I don't know if we need this part, if we're not choosing the branch. I'm going to do it and see. Okay, so now we're on a new branch. Yeah, we definitely started from the branch we were on because we still have the intersection stuff, so that's good. You'll branch off the current branch. Nice, thank you. Okay, cool. Now we can feel free to do stuff that might break things more. So let's make a test for, I'm just going to call it intersection. Just going to call it intersection for now. And inside of it, we are going to be able to import vector.io, create some stuff like a palette. We're not really going to do anything with the palette, but we need one to initialize our stuff. So we can just take that. This thing is like, no Python, no Python. We already went to a virtual environment though. Technically, we could actually do this without creating an object, actually. Yeah, we don't need this. We don't even need to create an object. So one of the things I did when I created these intersection functions was make them just take numbers instead of taking instances of the vector.io objects, which is the road I went down originally. But I figured that numbers is actually better because then you can use it even if you're not actually using vector.io. And that actually makes it easier for us to test as well because we don't have to create vector.io objects. We can just give it geometry. So we should be able to just say vector.io dot I think this is showing me, I think this is not showing me the functions because it's relying on the stubs that I have installed, which don't include the stuff that I'm adding in this PR. So let's take a very brief detour and see if I just run make stubs. Can I get a copy of the stubs with my new stuff in it? Because if so, that'd be pretty sweet. Make stubs. And if that works, then I can just install the ones that get built and then I'll have the new stuff, which will be nice because then the IDE will help me because I don't actually remember which order all the arguments go in. Okay. So we're already in the virtual environment. I'm just going to say pip uninstall circuit python -stubs. That will get rid of the one that I have installed. And then I can, where does that build to? I think circuit python stubs right there. Go into there, and then I can say pip install, I think just dot, maybe dot slash. I think dot will work too. Yeah, okay. Okay, very good. And then here, yeah, these now have all of these things. So circle, circle. We have circle 1x. I'm gonna say, just make some stuff up like 50, 50 for x and y. And then the circle 1 radius, let's say that it is a radius of 25. So to start with, let's do one that's outside. So intersection should be false. So then I'll go, that's 50, 50, and it has a radius of 25. I'm going to do 100, 100, and I'm going to do a small radius of only like 8. And 50 plus 25 is 75. 100 minus 8 is 92. Those should not intersect, I believe. Although I'm a visual geometry guy, so like I could be wrong, but I don't think those will intersect. So I'm gonna say print circle, circle, validate false. And I'm gonna print all of these values too. Just so we can see them. Okay. Back to Unix. Build coverage, MicroPython. Up, tests. Is it vector IO? Intersection. Sweet. But it printed that. It printed false. So then we could go circle, circle, validate true. And we could give it different numbers here, like if this one was 30 instead of 8, then they should intersect because this one's going to be over at 75, and that one's now going to be at 70. So, again, in my head, those seem like they should intersect, but as noted, I'm more of a visual geometry guy, and we can't see these, so I would not really trust my brain to get the answer right. And indeed, I seem to have failed. If this was 30, still false. At some point, I'll draw this on a screen to reassure myself, but to start with, let's just move them closer and assume that my geometry is not very good, because it's not. Okay, now it's true. So probably they're not intersecting, and I was just wrong. Although at some point I should probably try to check on that, make sure that it does actually work when it's supposed to. Yeah, here we definitely are intersecting. I think probably what happened is I was like, we're drawing circles, right? So the corners are cut off, right? Like the widest part and the tallest part of the circle is inside the center of the rectangle that holds it, which is a square in this case. And because I was using 50-50 and 100-100, it means that my circles were meeting at a diagonal on their corners, on the corners of the rectangles that contain the circles, which is the part where they're like smallest, basically, right? So something we could do just for fun here is make another one. Let's call it 50-50, 30. And then let's say, no, let's call it 50-50, 10. And then let's say, what? I'm going to start with 50-50 because, again, I really have trouble without being able to visualize. So this they're on top of each other. This I can visualize. I want to scoot this one up or down, it doesn't matter, by 10 pixels. So these should be, I think, technically not intersecting, but maybe on the edge. I'm not sure if the edge counts on true or false. True. But if I move it by one more, it should be false, I think. Am I getting wrecked by the radius instead of the diameter? No. A 62? 65. Where does it fail? 70? I'm changing the print and not updating. Yeah, I'm being silly. Changing the print, but not the code. We should. I guess I should put this in a variable and then print the variable and then pass that. That way we don't have that problem. Let me rewrite this real quick to do that. We'll just say args equals. And then print args, and then here we just say. I think we have to do that maybe. Let's make sure that runs. Yeah. And then we can just make a new args each time. I mean, like, it's reusing it, but. Stargs. Call that stargs, because that's fun to say. Okay, 61 is still true. "62 is true. But, okay, but this is the center. Okay, this is the center. This is the center of the circle. Which means the edge I'm looking for is actually 20 away, not 10 away, because we have 10 radius on each circle. So really the number I wanted here was 70, not 60. Again, geometry without being able to see it, not my forte. And then 71, I think, should be false. Yes! Okay, so If they're touching on the edges, then it counts as true. 70 is true. 71 is false. And that's the edge. And those ones are lined up vertically, one on top of the other. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to keep just one true and one false, because we don't really necessarily need both. But I do want one of each. And yeah, that works. That, or I like put it in a different file is what I would say there. Circle rectangle. Circle rectangle. So this takes... I'm going to write them here first, and then I'll take them out to args. So CX, that's the circle X. I'm just going to use the same 50, 50, 10. And then the rectangle X and the rectangle Y. Now, this X and Y for the rectangle, this is the top left corner, not the center. So for the circle, it's the center. For the rectangle, it is the top left corner. So for instance, if we did 0, 0, and if we did only a width of 10 and a height of 10, we should not be intersecting. Circle, rectangle, validate, false. Args. Be cool if we could have the arg names too, but that's... I don't know of a way to do that without hard coding them, which I don't want to do. Always educational watching your problem solving. Yeah, nice. I'm glad that's the case. I like streaming, and it sounds weird, but I actually do like streaming and struggling with stuff, especially if I manage to figure it out. It's obviously a lot more fun than struggling and not figuring it out. But yeah, I do like actually streaming and showing the struggle of like, this stuff is not necessarily easy. Sometimes, depending on what we're working on, we have a way of making it seem easier than it is at times, but we are working pretty deep into the weeds of microcontrollers and all kinds of crazy stuff here that is fraught with errors. Lots of problem solving, so it's good to see people. That's one of the things that I really appreciated about Deep Dive when I first started watching Scott on Deep Dive, was being able to watch him work through problems. Like you learn a lot about not just CircuitPython, but general kind of problem solving stuff. Let's copy this one. And if we... Okay, let's do the thing where we're going to try to line it up. It's kind of difficult to line it up. I mean, it's not that difficult, I guess. We could just say 50... Well, let's do again 50-50, and then let me change it. So this would be basically the same. We want 70 again, because then the left edge of the square at the bottom should be intersecting with the circle. And if we move that to 71, it should be false. Problem solving is one of the top skills I look for when I'm helping with hiring. Yeah. Okay. Actually expected true. Okay, this time we do. So last time it didn't matter whether we went up or down. This time it does actually, though, because we're not in the center of our rectangle. We're at the top of our rectangle. I need the rectangle to be above the circle. for the code to work how I have it, basically. So that actually needs to be minus 20 instead of plus 20, which means it needs to be 30 instead of 70. Okay, there we go. So we got true there, but it should be false if we were to go one further up, which means actually down in the y coordinate, because y is flipped for the displays. Yeah, false there. So 29 is false, 30 is true. I almost wonder if we should we keep these as one off so that it kind of like shows the edge essentially. Okay. I'm going to do line circle as well, just so we have all the circle stuff together. So, wait, show me that again. X1, Y1, X2. Huh? That can't be right. I think the docs are probably wrong for that. Let's take a detour and look at the docs. We want shared bindings. Because we need the circle too, right? This is X1, Y1, X2, Y2. That's only the line. We need the circle also. There's vector. Okay, there it is. Yeah, we should have all of these. Guessing I probably just left them out. Yeah. Actually, they are listed here. I don't know, maybe it doesn't like them all in one line. But also we have, there was padding. Oh, I bet you this broke it. I think that's required. Padding is a float. Okay, let me try to build the stubs again. And how to work out of a problem. It's not always something that's available. Yeah, that's true. Lots of tutorials and stuff will kind of like cut the hard parts out so that it's not for and I get it too, because like a lot of people want to watch a nice clean edited 10 15 20 minutes that's kind of like polished and has only the meat of whatever. But like personally I kind of like, I dig the long form, like show the work that went into it, even if it is at times like you're just watching somebody struggle and try to figure it out. So we want to install that CircuitPython stubs, but yeah, I can see why sometimes people don't always show the struggle as well. Like it's tough out there for like super long content, truthfully, to get folks engaged. I mean, streaming is one thing, like this is like pretty straightforward, but if you're trying to do videos and tutorials and stuff, but I think there's room for everything, right? Some people learn better with the clean, polished, edited one. Some people learn better watching you struggle and going along with the struggle. Install this again so that we will get the latest one. Do I need to do upgrade? No, it looks like it did it. I don't know how fast. Is it just going to be there already, or? I don't know. That one doesn't seem to want to fill in. Not really convinced it grabbed the latest stuff. Oh. Oh no, uninstalling and then installing. So it did do that. Okay. I don't know. Polygon circle, does that one have all the right stuff in it? Does. Skip a comma, maybe? Oh, they all have commas. Okay. I mean, in that file, it's updated now. Oh wait, this is the wrong thing. Line circle. Okay, here we go. In this file, it is updated now. So my next guess is maybe just like, I don't know. I don't know how quick the IDE would really would get that. I mean, if we uninstall it, I guess they go away. Didn't go away. Why didn't they go away? Vector IO. Okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't want to refresh, but it is there now. So x1, y1, let's just go 0, 0, and maybe 50, 50. It's been working for us so far. Circle x. $50. Circle y. I'm going to say 60. And radius 10, padding. So padding is like all of the line ones have padding, and it's basically a way that it can it's like an extra bit of space around the line that will get counted as true. It's basically making the line bigger than just a width of like one theoretical unit, which it turns out one theoretical unit is really small. And by the time you are kind of rounding and stuff for pixels, because like in geometry we have floats and we can get more precise, but ultimately this is really meant in service of things that are on the display, which of course are in pixels, and there's no half pixel or decimal of a pixel really, so we're doing a lot of rounding to get back to ints. This padding, setting it to like 0.1 makes it so that you have more realistic true and false for pixels as opposed to like theoretical infinitely small units of geometry, which it turns out are really small. Basically, if you don't use a little bit of padding, you end up in situations where visually the two things are touching. They look like it should be true, but it returns false because technically they're like just barely not touching. And a little bit of padding makes it so that they'll count as true, but not count stuff that's like obviously outside either, so. So this should be true, I believe. Extra positional. I think padding, you have to do it as this. I think it's a keyword argument, maybe. Oh. I don't know if there's a better way to do this. Okay, there we go. True. Line circle validates to true, and then, but if this were 61, then it should be false. Nice, okay. Do wish the guides would include as a sort of roundup of frequently encountered issues. About yourself, Dan H., and all the lovely folks here in the Discord who answer calls for help on the regular have the greatest hits of things that crop up. Yes, some guides definitely have FAQs, but not all of them, to your point. And it is, one thing I will say is it's tough to know sometimes what will be most helpful to the guide reader. Although hanging out around the help with channel will help you find that stuff pretty well. But I will say sometimes I struggle with like basically overthinking whether something is gonna be likely to come up or not, essentially. I'll decide it's not, like, I'll have something, but I'll decide it's not worth mentioning because nobody will ever have that problem or whatever, right? When it's like sometimes somebody will. So I'm kind of like trying to work on myself. Don't filter that stuff as much. Okay. That's all good. 61 is outside, 60 is inside. And then I think polygon circle is the last one, I believe. This one also has a padding. Okay. We need a list of points. So I'm going to try to make a trapezoid. So the first point is like 50, 0. And the next point is like 100, 0. So we have a 50 wide line starting at 50, 0, going to 100, 0. And then we're going to go down and to the right. So we're going to go, let's just say 50 more over and 50 down. And then we're going to come all the way back to 0, 50. Yeah, and then that's going to connect to that. So I think that should make a trapezoid. X, Y, those are going to be 0, 0 because we are going to base our polygon up near the top edge, basically the top left corner. We're not going to be in the top left corner because we don't have 0, 0 as a point, but we want all of our other points to become relative to 0, 0 on the display. Yeah, okay. Okay, circle, X, Y, radius, and padding. So this one will be trickier. So let's say if our circle is going to have a radius of 10 again, then let's say our X is 160 and our Y is 50 and our radius is 10, and then padding we have to do this way. Polygon, circle, validate, false. So if we want false, actually we need, I think, 161 instead of 160. Oh. False. Okay. If that was 160, then I think we should be back to true. Nice. Okay, that I believe is all the circle ones. We didn't do circle contains point, but that's not an intersection function. We could add a contains though. We could add a contains here. We could also write the expect file, although I will eventually add more stuff to here. And I'm still not entirely sure how to run. It's unclear to me how this one works. Oh. What is that going to do? What happens if you RM with no argument? Seems dangerous. I don't know. What does that do, actually? I don't even know. What does that do? RM with no argument? I would run it, but that seems dangerous. Okay, that makes sense, but that's not what our script is doing. Has some troubleshooting? Maybe, okay, but this is, okay, but it's not running it, so maybe it is what we're doing. Oh, it's not actually, it doesn't seem like it's used, actually. Oh, it is, we just can't control click to it. Okay, so it's gonna pass more stuff to it. I see, I see. So it is basically doing this. It's basically doing this. Kind of. Okay. Maybe I should be running this one. Run tests exp instead of run tests. Insertion error. Line 39. Base name missing operand. R equals 0. So, I mean, this is looking in the directory that we're in. Makes me think we can't run it from here. Okay, does anything run this? No. Oh, dashes, not underscores, dashes. Still no. Really? Huh. Alright. I don't know how to use that one. We could try this, but I don't think it's gonna... I don't think this is gonna use the Unix port build. But I'm not sure. I mean, it has this, so maybe it will. But it says... It says that don't have CPython. Still is unclear to me if I'm supposed to be running these with the MicroPython binary or with the CPython binary on the computer. I guess both are on the computer at this point, but like I think of the MicroPython binary as over there in MicroPython binary land. Ordinarily, it would be on a different device, obviously, though we're on the Unix port. This page doesn't really tell us anything about either of those two files. I mean, it seems like this one doesn't get run anywhere inside the repo. Because I did a git grep. We got nothing. os.system. Okay, so I mean, that's going to try to run MicroPython. So this wants to run in CPython. This totally wants to run in CPython. For sure. I don't know why this says on systems without. But you will need CPython because I mean, CircuitPython at least doesn't have os.system. MicroPython, I would assume also doesn't, but I don't know as much there. So if I go to tests and then I run that, but it's not going to know where to find. It's not going to know where to find MicroPython. 0 tests passed and 198 tests failed. Could I ln-s up ports Unix build coverage MicroPython to /MicroPython? So there is a link from no, because there is a directory here by that name. .link. So now we have a link. It didn't put that link inside of there, did it? Ooh, it put the link inside of there. That's not really what we want. Okay. But we should be able to say MicroPython ./MicroPython.link. That's now a link over to the other one. I keep forgetting that quit is not how you get out of that. And then this feels like not right, but I'm just gonna change this and then try to run it. No, same thing. 0 tests passed, all tests failed. It says that this was not found, ever. It's not in the same directory as us. But it does just say os.system, so I mean, os.chdir, no, chdir. Okay, I don't know. I don't know where it's running from, basically. Did I spell it right? Oh, I mean, does it need a /? I mean, I guess it could need a dot slash. Again with the quit, though. Okay. So now we have only 6 failed. And 116 passed. So not that many. We skipped a lot more than we passed, but you know. I would love to know about the Vector IO one without scrolling through this list. We're about at the time here as well. I am kind of curious. What? Why did that output those lines which don't contain vector IO and not output any? It doesn't look like it did the vector IO tests, actually. Looks like it only did basics and MicroPython and float and import and ext mod and Unix are basically all the ones here. I mean, it will fail even if it runs because I didn't create the expected file. Still doesn't seem to have actually done any vector IO things. $796? 116? Is that the same number? I think this is all from old stuff. Should have cleared, I guess. I mean, there's one down here. Oh, that's from my grep. Okay, yeah, grep. So there was no output from that. I don't know. I don't know how we get it to run that one. Okay. That's the thing to figure out. How to, that's the take home for me is we try to figure out how to run. Like, ideally, I would like to just run one at a time, but they're fairly fast. If I have to run them all, I will. But how do I run them and get it to run all the ones that are in here? And then I'll need to add the expected file for it, but maybe that's what's breaking it, I guess. I don't know. That's the thing to figure out, though. How to get it to run and test against the expected file, but not... I'm not trying to run it in CPython. I'm not trying to compare the MicroPython binary to the CPython, because we're not going to be able to run this in CPython because vector IO doesn't exist. So we want to just run it with the MicroPython binary and then compare the results to the exp file, which we will hard code here. Which one of the test scripts does, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know which one or how to launch it. And then if I can figure out how to do one at a time, that would even be cooler than doing all of them. Because truthfully, I just want to test my one and then like add a little bit and run it again and add a little bit and run it again. But that will be an exercise for a different day. As a reminder, this has been the deep dive. Fridays at it's 4 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. Central, but it's usually billed as 2 p.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern. Is the deep dive stream here on the Adafruit channel. And I will be here next week as well as probably the couple weeks following that. I think all of November. Scott's gone, and then maybe after that in December he's back for a bit, but then he'll be gone for another chunk next year. So next couple of weeks I'll be here. He'll come back at some point, and then he'll leave again, and I'll be back. I will mention, normally I typically do stream over on my own channel on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. However, I will not be there tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Time. I've got some other stuff going on in the morning. So probably tomorrow is going to be in the afternoon, maybe more like 3 or 4 p.m. Central Time. If you want notifications on that, you can follow me over on Twitch. It's foamyguy_Twitch. And I will post links in the live broadcast chat here in Discord when I'm about to get started, so you can watch that as well if you want to know when I hop on tomorrow. But yeah, usually 10 a.m. Central on Saturdays, but tomorrow is an exception. I'll be later in the afternoon. And then actually next week is an exception too. Probably there will be no Saturday stream next week. But then the following week after that on Saturdays, I'll be back to the normal time, I believe, the 10 a.m. Central Time, which is usually what I do. Just not this week or the next week. So later tomorrow, and then off the week after that, and then back at the normal time after that. Let me read this real quick, and then I will say some goodbyes, and we will wrap it up. I suppose more what I had in mind was in line. Sort of this step has gone wrong for some folks. Here's how to tell and unbreak it. All to say, I hope the frequency with which certain questions arise is being accounted for in some capacity to feed back into the guides. Of course, I'm assuming such questions exist, which may be wrong-headed. I mean, definitely the feedback goes back into the guides. So there's two mechanisms for the guides, actually. So the guides, inside the Learn Guide system, there is a feedback thing that you can put in there, which is like all totally separate from Discord. Just inside Learn Guides, you can submit feedback, and then whoever's the author can see the feedback, and then the folks who author guides regularly will go, and there's a screen where you can look at all your feedback, essentially. So they'll go through that with some regularity, you know, not every day, but like once every couple of weeks or month or so. They'll go through that and address the feedbacks. And then the other thing for sure, I know, like, I can only speak for myself, but definitely for me, when folks bring up anything in guides in Discord, like if someone is struggling with something in a guide in Discord, especially if there's any problem where like the code on the guide page is wrong or the diagram or whatever is wrong, I will definitely go and fix those as I see them come up. I'm only one person and I don't see everything that comes up. But yeah, anytime I see any anything that's actually out of whack or whatever that someone reports on Discord, I'll go in and fix it in the guide as well. That's not necessarily the exact kind of thing you're talking about, where it's like something could go wrong. You know, here's what it means if it does go wrong this way. It doesn't necessarily mean the guide's wrong. It could be a typo or whatever on the user side, just something that's easy to typo, like a dash or an underscore or something. But thanks for the stream. Might be able to watch live Saturday for the first time in a while. Nice. Cool. Yep. We'll be on a bit later than normal. Afternoon time for me tomorrow. And yeah, with that, I will sign it off. Thanks to everyone for watching. Yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat as well. Appreciate folks watching along. And I will see you all next week for Deep Dive. And if you want to tune in over on my channel tomorrow afternoon, I'll see you there. With that, I will bid you farewell. Thanks for watching.